Hi guys, welcome to Stretty News TV, Stretty Sundays. It'll probably be my last one for some time. Getting married on Thursday, so I'm with a bunch of cunts who are going to be discussing the game tonight. Firstly, I'm going to introduce them. Firstly, we've got Alex Simo. Alex, say hello to everybody.
Hello, alright. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that was a lovely welcome. Well done, mate. You got the hang of this. Right, next I'm going to introduce Sean. Sean is currently in America. No, he's currently in Manchester, but he's from America. Sean's a regular panellist on Stretty News TV and a regular contributor to the channel. He's a top guy and he's doing lots of travelling now to go and follow the Mighty Reds. Sean, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm all right. Really shouldn't be doing tonight, but I'm on it. And we've just been also joined by Steve. Steve, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no, it's no worries at all. Right, let's get straight into the business. I think we might be joined by Aidan at some point, but his computer's still malfunctioned, and it doesn't look like he will be coming on anytime soon until he gets his act together with his computer. Yeah, so let's just talk about a few things. Firstly, obviously, the 0-0 wonderful draw against Newcastle, which we all thought was a great result. Oh, it was awful, wasn't it? Okay, Steve, do you want to start us off with the Newcastle result?
Yeah, why not? Well, I was one of them that come away, and I was a bit disappointed. It isn't, a shocking result, and it's miles better than what we were doing last season. But yeah, I think I come away disappointed with the fact that we hadn't really played well the other two games. I know we've had a lot of buys. I didn't think Newcastle were there for the taking, but at Old Trafford, and I didn't think they actually played that great. They had a few decent performers. United started off well for the first 20 minutes, but I just come away scratching my head. Just me and the pals who I went with, we were praising defenders again. Smalling, Shaw, Darmian, forward line. There wasn't really much to talk about, and it's the same story. I don't think there's a massive cause for concern, but yeah, I think it'd be nice to get three wins on the trot. Be up there with City today. Obviously, they won. It's just nice to get off to a good start and get your marker down early. But yeah, 0-0, not great. But we've had worse starts to the season the past couple of years. So it's not a disaster, I suppose. But yeah, that's where I was yesterday, I think.
Where did it go wrong? I'm going to start with Alex. Alex, mate, where's it gone wrong? Is it? I think a lot of people were actually talking at the beginning of the season that we needed to bolster our defence, but I think since the start of the season, we've kind of been scratching our heads and been kind of moving away from that kind of saying, and seem to be moving forward down the first 11s. Actually, seemingly that our attack actually needs work rather than the defence. We seem to lose a lot of attacking players before the season obviously started with Robert Van Persie going in, Nani and whatnot.
I think we can say it might be an improvement on last year, because to start with, last year, every game, all we were doing was praising the goalkeeper. So at least we're praising the defenders now. We're moving out of it. Maybe next year we can start praising the midfield and maybe the strikers. I thought the first 20 minutes we actually played pretty well. I thought, here we go. If we'd have scored it, if Rooney, I think it's 4 minutes in, if Rooney had scored, we'd be talking about a different game, to be honest. We looked lively the first 20 minutes, and then it was almost like the crowd started to get on the players' backs, started to be a bit erratic with the passing, and before you know it, then it's half time. Newcastle then, they could see the draw sort of inside, so they started putting every man behind the ball. I think the biggest issue seemed to be yesterday was obviously again our creative play in the final third. I don't think it's working well with Mata on the right. I absolutely love watching Matt. I think I think he's our most talented player. I think he's the best player. But playing on the right, he hasn't got that pace to beat a man, so it's becoming quite predictable. Van Gaal spoke about sort of being fluent, having a balanced team. Well, it's not balanced at the moment. We've got a winger on the left, an out-and-out winger. So we're always going to try and go down the left. Every time we try and go right to Mata, he just has to cut back inside. Again, with Mata drifts inside, we do start to create, but why he isn't sort of playing inside from the start, only Van Gaal knows. Again, Rooney, if he'd scored, maybe we wouldn't be on his back, but again, he was very poor. Van Gaal, I don't care what he says, he can't be happy with him, because if he was happy with him, you wouldn't move him inside back to number 10 and bring Hernandez on 2 games running. If you were confident Rooney was doing the job, then he left it number 10.
Just before you carry on, I think it's quite important to touch upon Wayne Rooney. I mean, we all know he's a very streaky player, but what's going on with Wayne? There's obviously there's something not right there. He hasn't played well from the start. I know he plays every so often streaks, and he can play well. He might not play well, but we've only got one striker, and we're relying on him to play well every game, week in, week out. It's affordable when we're playing 2 strikers and one has an off day and the other one can make up for him and can bag a few. But if it is the sole striker, then I worry that he's not that band of quality that he once was when he first came to the club. Sean, what's your view on Rooney, and where's it gone wrong, mate?
I think he looks leggy right now. He's also he's young, but at the same time, I think people tend to forget that he's been playing since he's been 16 years old. So he's got a lot of miles on his legs right now, and just looks really leggy, a little bit slow. His touches, we've been talking about his touches for years, but his touches.
He's not young. He's 29.
Yeah, and he's an old 29 because he's been playing. Some of these guys, by the time Pereira gets into the first team, or they're 21, 22, Cleverly, who just left, but 22, 23 years old, 29 years old, you've been playing for 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, he's been playing at a high level since he's been 17 years old, so he's got a lot of miles on his legs. They talk about the service all the time, but I can't all be down to that. I think sometimes his touches, his first touch, it's just, I got kids that are, my U16 kids that kind of have a better touch at times, which is, unforgivable. But sometimes he looks better when Chicharito comes on the pitch, so maybe he needs to be, further back a little bit. I don't know what the question is. I think they got to drop him for Wednesday night. I think, I don't know. A year ago or a year and a half ago, it'd be blasphemy to say this, but I think they got to start Fellaini on Wednesday night. In Belgium, let him play up front, let him do some damage. Maybe play behind.
Sean, can I interrupt you there? Steve doesn't seem very happy with that suggestion. Steve, let's bring you in on that one. Sean just thought about bringing Fellaini up front for Wednesday night. What do you think, mate?
Well, I think both of you boys are bang on with Wayne Rooney. I've been saying it for probably the past 2 seasons. Well, I think going into a massive Champions League game, because it's huge this week, we're playing a number 10 up as number 9. And what's the tactic going to be there going into Belgium? Man United again start off on one of the biggest games of the fucking season, lumping a ball up to Fellaini. They're going to have a field day with it. It worked absolutely perfect last week. He come off the bench and he was an absolute handful and scored. But it sends out just completely the wrong message to start off with that as a tactic. For me, definitely come off the bench. He's got to. I've had no problem with Fellaini coming off the bench for United. I've always had the problem with actually starting, because that, for me, that's wrong. That is wrong. Going on Wayne Rooney.
Go
on, mate.
No, I think that's fine. I just think maybe then Chicharito's got to start. You can't just keep putting this guy back out on the pitch and playing him 90 minutes, game in, game out, and just have and have these bad matches and have really no repercussions. And at the point, if he becomes undroppable, like people are saying, at some point, I mean, if he knows he's never coming off, then if he has a couple bad touches, he doesn't pick it up. At some point, I think you got to sit him and say, listen, you're going to come off the bench, just try something different. I mean, he's not firing right now, and it doesn't have to be Flynn. It could be Chicharito. It could be whoever, but they got to try something different because the longer this stretch goes, and his stretches seem to be getting longer. The patches where he doesn't score. I mean, he hasn't scored in a long time. I mean, I just think you have to kind of do something, mix it up, maybe bring him off the bench, maybe get him a little fire under him.
I think for me, if I'm honest with you, I think this will be Wayne Rooney's last season with United.
Yep.
I don't know if anybody would probably agree with me there, but I think it's Wayne Rooney's probably going to be his last season. I can't see him really kind of taking off and getting that 30 goals that we really require. Alex, you're a regular on here and also a regular at United as well. Do you reckon it's going to be Rooney's last season as well? Do you agree with me, or I mean, what are your thoughts on Wayne? Where's it all gone wrong for him? Oh no, Alex is gone.
What about Aiden's thoughts? What does Aiden think about this?
Aiden's not.
He's playing.
Currently, he's not with us, but. Guys, what is your view on Wayne Rooney? Is he finished? Is he finished at United? Is this going to be his last season? Playing for us? Is he going to move on? I don't know if he can continue to be playing at the number 9 or number 10 because currently, I think Wayne Rooney's going to have to accept at some point in his career that he's going to have to drop into a midfield role because if you watch him now, he's dropping deep to get the ball the whole time. He can't beat a player. His first touch is like a rapist. It's awful. It's really, really awful.
Serge, on that note, mate, can I butt in then?
Yes.
Well, I completely agree with what Sean was saying. But the same problem's been there for 2 seasons.
Yeah, no.
No, I'm on about Wayne. We'll go back on Wayne Rooney. It's been there for 2 seasons. He can have countless dog shit games. I'm not just talking about because of a striker, because he doesn't score. There's more to being a striker about there. Like you were saying, touch, just basics. It was under Moyes, some of the performances were a joke, but he didn't have the bollocks to drop him, and he lost his job. Van Gaal's come in, made him the captain. And I said it for quite parts of last season, he's been a top goal scorer for the past 2 seasons. That's enough for some fans. But we finished 7th and 4th. I mean, if that's all they want to do, Serge, is keep backing Wayne Rooney as a number 9 and see out his contract with Man United, so he ends up with 230 goals, United are going to win fuck all, man.
Yeah, I know.
United are not going to challenge for the Champions League and the league title in this country as long as he's the main man up front and Hernandez is challenging him.
Well, I agree with you, and I think just to add on to that, a friend of mine actually mentioned to me, he said the biggest blessing that could happen to United is Wayne Rooney leaving, because that will take away that restriction that we've kind of, everything's been revolved around Wayne Rooney, and it's kind of,
Fergie would have got rid of him 2 years ago anyway. So I mean, the problem, the gutting thing was obviously Sir Alex Ferguson going 1. I mean, it was always going to happen anyway at some point. But the interview after his last game, I think it was against Swansea.
Yeah.
They asked him about the problem with Wayne Rooney, and Ferguson said it's not my problem anymore. And to be honest, I think the writing was on the wall then for us. It looks like we're going to slag Wayne Rooney off all night. I mean, there's been other players to blame for the past couple of seasons, but Wayne Rooney's a big part of this. Don't forget, 5 years ago, he questioned Sir Alex and he questioned United's ambition.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't forget stuff like that. He wanted to be the main man. I think he's had it for 2 seasons. We've fucked Van Persie off, don't forget. Moyes with Rooney, he was fucking Van Persie about, and Van Persie, I mean, he isn't English, he's Dutch, and he got pissed off, obviously. And I think another thing with Rooney is, before we go on to anything else, I think we're out of scapegoats this season as well. I think, I mean, Falcao was pretty poor in games last season. He got dog's abuse. Everyone was after Van Persie because he didn't like Moyes. His body language said that. Now them pair have gone. There's only Rooney up there to blame now. And I think some fans are coming into, it's the service. I think the service was shit last season. I was there for pretty much all the games last season, as you lads were. I wasn't impressed with the service. You can't expect winning titles with just creating one chance and you've got to score it every time.
I mean, you look at Steve. You look at. I mean, if I'm honest with you, it sounds awful, but I was watching City today against Everton, and the chances they create one after the other, and it's so neat, and it's just bang on. I don't know what it is, but we are missing something. People can say we're missing a striker, which is fine, but I don't believe that. I understand our midfield is strong when you play Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, and whoever else. But the problem is there, in my opinion. We're joined back with Alex again. So I was just saying, Alex, I was just mentioning that, in my opinion, you can't play Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin in the same team because they're both quite, not immobile, but they're not forward-thinking players. You look at Herrera; he's the whole package. He's the tackler. He's the creativity. He's the driving forward force for that midfield. And you can play him alongside Schneiderlin or Schweinsteiger, but you can't play them both together, Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin, because they're not that mobile type of forward-running, centre mid, and we don't have Herrera's that player. So if we would have played, I'm telling you, if we would have played Herrera Schweinsteiger or Herrera Schneiderlin with Wayne Rooney and Chica up front, two of them, I don't know why we're playing so defensive at home. It's another thing I don't understand. Alex, let me bring you in. You've not been on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, mate. I said the other week it's ridiculous Herrera isn't playing. It looked like the first part of last season he was almost sort of, not playing him and trying to mould him into a sort of perfect box-to-box midfielder. And in fairness to Van Gaal, it seemed to work. But the second part of last season he really came on, scored a lot. I think he scored 9 goals for us in the end, something like that. A great start. He loves to put in a tackle. As I say, he's a box-to-box midfielder. And yeah, you have a home game against what you would class as a lesser team against Newcastle, the big club they think they are, but here we are. You have a big game at home to those guys. You should be taking the front foot to them. Why you haven't got a player who runs at defence, create goals? I don't know. As you say, Schneider and Schweinsteiger, both great players, but they're both very happy just to pass sideways. Nothing wrong with that. Schweinsteiger, to be fair, he does look forward. I haven't been overly impressed with Schneiderlin so far.
Neither have I. And I think I probably get. I keep thinking that am I missing something here? Is it just me? Because everyone seems to be singing the praises about Schneiderlin. I'm just like, honestly, I'm not really like. He's got the ball a few times. I forgot he was playing a couple of times, and everyone's like, "Oh, Schneiderlin, he's phenomenal since United." I'm like, "Fucking hell, really?" And Schweinsteiger, fucking hell, like I'm not being funny, but I know I'm quite a big guy, but he looks about 2 stone overweight in my opinion.
I think there's a tendency when we have new signings, everyone just jumps on board and is almost a bit afraid to criticise them. Don't get me wrong, Schneiderlin's going to become he's going to become a great player for us. I think he's 25, he's right age, but he's been putting in a lot of good tackles, but on the ball he's been pretty careless. Schweinsteiger, he showed his class with his sort of his movement, he's been commanding people around the pitch, but again he doesn't look quite match fit yet.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you there. In terms of some of the other signings, I mean, Luke Shaw, looks like a new signing, doesn't he? Sean, what are your thoughts on Luke?
Oh, he's been phenomenal. He's been near the man of the match. He looks like a monster back there, pushing guys off the ball, playing defensively. He's really quick. He overlaps. He gets up past Memphis. I think that's going to be a big left-sided thing there with him and Memphis on that side.
Just going on to Memphis, is he trying too hard? Obviously we saw glimpses of it against with a couple of goals that he bagged. Is he trying too hard? Is it will it come for him? Where he gets that consistency every game, or what do you think, mate?
Still young too. That's the thing. He's still a young kid. He's just turned 21, those 2 goals he scored against Bruges. The first one where he flicked the ball over the defender and then faked and shot. And I think that's kind of the stuff that he's going to bring to the table. I just think when he's this young, he's going to kind of have games where he's going to drift out of it, kind of like he did the other day. And it's tough because when it's 0-0 and there's nobody scoring goals, and that's kind of the games you can't really afford him to drift out of, and it's just going to happen because he's new to the league and he's still young.
Sure. I mean, just touching on Memphis and the whole issue with United's creativity and build up. Is it too slow at the moment?
It's so slow. Watching this stuff every time I leave the game. I said the other day on Twitter, if your first 2 words about these games are not too slow or not quick enough, there's nothing else to say.
There doesn't seem to be any kind of urgency.
Triangles with, look, they want to try to play this Barcelona style. That's fine. You want to play these triangles. Every time they play, when you watch Barcelona play, they get the ball, they turn, they pass the ball to the next guy, they pass the ball to the next guy. When United does it, first of all, the passes aren't hit with any urgency. The passes are hit like half-assed passes, so they're like, And second of all, every time they turn, they always turn and they're looking like, oh, where am I supposed to go with the ball? They don't know where they're supposed to go. So it's obvious some of these guys are still learning how to do it, but it's so slow, and they let the guys get back behind the ball. And then, okay, if you're going to do that, then you have to have some creativity.
I think Sean, I think if I'm honest with you, we were getting there towards the end of last season. He was starting to learn the new tactic, the new way of formation, the way that Van Gaal wants to play. The fact is that we've brought in a load of new players now. They've got to relearn it all again.
The Spanish, Herrera, who's probably should be the best at it. He's the quickest guy. He's attacking, sitting on the bench. They bring in Valencia for the last 10 minutes of that game. They got Herrera there begging to come into that game and change the game. And it's just so slow, and it's just, you see it, I see it, these guys see it, everybody, there's so many people see it's too slow, and just, after the game, Van Gaal, no, it was a great performance, blah, blah,
Yeah, I mean, Van Gaal's kind of become this kind of performance coach. Alex.
Play Herrera.
One minute, Steve. 1 minute, Sean. Alex and Steve, I'll go to Alex first. Is it too slow? If we were to bring someone in, who would it be? And who's going to be sacrificed? Just answer those questions. Is it too slow? If we were to bring in somebody else, who would it be? And who would be sacrificed?
Yeah, it's far too slow. I think it's, we all know, everyone can see that. As for bringing someone in, we're running out of time. It's almost a choice now between a winger or a striker. We're crying out for a striker. I drop Mata into 10, play even young or Valencia on the right just to inject some pace into the team, and have an out-and-out goal scorer. Who? I'm not really sure now. We've been linked with so many people off centre. We probably should have a rough idea now who we would want. That Lacazette, I don't know much about him, but what I have seen, pacey. I saw this morning linked with Griezmann. Just someone with some pace, just possibly able to beat a player and get on the end of things. One last point, Hernandez, when he's come on the last 2 games, he has looked pretty sharp. He's got that pace. I'd rather see him up front at the moment than Rooney, to be honest.
Why can't we have both? Steve, let me bring you in, mate. Who
would sacrifice either side? I'd ditch Januzaj.
Is it too slow?
And I'd bring Herrera in. It is too slow. I'd ditch Januzaj and I'd bring Herrera in. First choice would be Mata at number 10. Yeah. I think as soon as you buy a player for 37 million, you've seen what he's done in the league for Chelsea. He's done it at Old Trafford with Chelsea. He used to tear us apart, man. Yeah. And it was painful under Moyes to watch him out wide.
Yeah.
Van Gaal's actually got him performing last season towards the end, and it was fantastic to watch. But a lot of people say it we were on about it before we come on, Silva with City. He just tears into people, and they can't deal with him.
It's both. And the pair of them.
Yeah, and I think if Mata's pulled into number 10, I'm not saying he'll do what Silva does, but he'll do a lot more than what Januzaj does. And that's his position. And again, I'd have to ditch Januzaj to bring Herrera in, because, like you're saying, Herrera has to play. Going on with transfer, I think we'll took it out right at the end, man. But yeah, I think like you say, Herrera's got to come in.
He's got to. He's just got to.
And
I'm
I'm not a big lover of Giannis.
He has to be the first name on that team sheet, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you say, if Hernandez plays up front, I mean, I'm not a huge Hernandez fan because, like, I think we all know it's either going to be 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, and it just at a minute we brought Hernandez back. I mean, he ditched him after the MK Dons game because he was garbage. He was garbage under Moyes. We let Van Persie go. Falcao was probably always going to go at the end anyway, and we haven't replaced him. And like, I actually agree with Hernandez. Actually, when he come on, he actually did look half decent. And I thought I'd bring Rooney off and I'd bring Hernandez on.
Why can't we?
It pains me to say, but I don't think he's going to play two up there, Serge, mate.
That's the biggest problem. You know what Mike Bassett said on his DVD? What did he say?
That's my favourite DVD, man. Yeah, the on about where England will be playing 4-4-2.
Exactly. Yeah. We're gonna play 4-4-2, and I don't know why we just don't. Honestly, why not? Why can't we play 4-4-2? Play Wayne Rooney and Chica up front, and then play the regular team. You can still have people overlapping and whatnot. But United, we're a team that's used to attacking. It doesn't matter if other teams scored because we're always going to try and outscore them. We play exciting football. It just seems to it's got boring. It's boring to watch. It's the same old shit every week. And until things start getting exciting and Van Gaal, I don't know what's holding them back. It seems like they're restricted. That's what it seems to me. I mean, Alex, it doesn't seem restricted to you. What do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously when Van Gaal came in, he took over a bit of a so-called crisis. I think you got to give him that. A lot of people said last season about our defensive problems, and still on paper we haven't got the best defence. So as much as it is boring, you've got to give him the credit that he has shored up the defence quite a bit. We got pretty solid. Fullbacks now are two of the big positives so far this season. Having two decent fullbacks is obviously helping the defensive situation. So you've got to give him credit for shoring up the defence, but yeah, it's boring. Why is he doing it? I keep telling myself that now we're keeping the goals out. Eventually he's going to give people more freedom, but it just doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. He seems totally obsessed with keeping the ball. And to keep the ball, he doesn't want, as you say, too many players overlapping. Diamond and Shaw seem to be overlapping a little bit, but still, it's still not a United way. We used to have wingers bombing on, the fullbacks overlapping. I don't think we're ever going to see this so-called United way under Van Gaal. Again, he seems far too obsessed with actually keeping the ball.
After Van Gaal, Alex, sorry, just while I interrupt you. Who's going to take over? Do you think it'll be Giggsy? Do you think he'll put his stamp on the game, or do you think it'll be Giggsy with Van Gaal style of play? Or will it be else? Will it be completely different?
I think as soon as Van Gaal goes, if Giggs does take over, I think he will get the opportunity. We won't see any of this football we've been seeing the last 2 years. He'll get straight rid of it. Giggs at the moment, he sort of resembles a scared little kid, sort of sat with his dad and afraid to sort of say anything wrong. He's like taking it all in, trying to keep him happy, keep his job, but he's probably like, what is this guy doing? This is boring.
He's probably not wrong, mate. He probably comes home from work, probably puts his bag down and goes, bag of shit that. Sean, obviously, we've been linked with a lot of players over the past few months, few years. Gaitan. Who would you like to see come into the Old Trafford fold? Who can you see coming in to kind of add that pace or be a striker or what? I mean, who would you like to see? Who would you say? Like one or two players?
Yeah. You mean after Neymar? Because he's done, right? Neymar's a done deal. He sat out today at the Barcelona game. No, I think Griezmann would be good. He could score some goals.
Come on, you're ITK. You should know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that guy on Twitter's messaged me about all this stuff. Yeah, Griezmann definitely would be somebody. Obviously, his brothers tweeting that stuff the other day, which is pretty interesting about Manchester United. So it's got to be someone that could come in. I guess they're talking about Zlatan being up, but everyone says he's going back to Milan. I don't know if maybe that would work for a year or so, but I think they got to get younger and quicker. So Griezmann would definitely work. Maybe the kid Anderson from Lazio, Felipe Anderson. Just got to do something with the attack now. They got to get some goals into this team. Because the other thing I was going to say before too with Rooney, he's keeping out. They're keeping these guys out. Like what's going on with Wilson? I don't know if he's hurt or whatever. What's going on with Andres Pereira? And got to get these guys into the team. So which one? It's you gotta try to get something to attack. And I think defensively, they're pretty obviously they need a goalkeeper, but
Right. Billy Daly on Twitter has just tweeted me, and he said there's one man for the job, and his name is Romelu Lukaku. Would you like to see him at United? Steve, yes or no?
No, not for me. I think there's better out there.
Right, at the moment.
I think
Sean?
I'd break the bank for Lewandowski, mate. I would.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, well, if that's the case, I'll have Aguero, I'll have Messi, and I'll have Neymar.
No, but I don't think he's in that bracket of player, though, is he, really?
No, but Lewandowski,
Neymar, Messi, Suarez.
Yeah, but he's only just
anyway.
gone to Munich. He's only just gone to Munich, Steve. There's no chance.
True, but yeah, he went there on a free last year. There's been rumblings ever since he's gone there, to be fair. There's loads of rumblings out of Bayern that a few aren't happy with Pep Guardiola. But you never know, Serge, until you test the water, mate, do you? I think. All I'm saying is I think he for me is perfect for the way Van Gaal goes in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. He'd make the system a lot better because, like we're saying, it's boring. The football isn't great. There's no urgency. I think he'd improve it tenfold. I think I think we could do a lot worse than Zlatan for a year, Adi. I think you could have I don't think no, I don't think it will, mate. He'll have a similar impact to what Henrik Larsson did. I remember thinking, why on earth we brought Henrik Larsson in, and watched him a couple of times at Old Trafford and I just sat there and just shut my mouth because he was top class. But I think you're getting into a situation where it's becoming a little bit desperate up front. If we go into the season with this current three, with Wilson, if he stays at the club, Young, Hernandez, and Rooney, can any of you see us winning the league with that?
No. Sean, Lukaku, yes or no?
Is he the only one is he the only one that we could bring?
Just a question, Sean. It's a yes or no. Would you have him? Yes or no?
I mean, if he's the only one, then yeah, I guess he's younger, but I think he's kind of like the same as some of these other guys. You need somebody quicker. He's gonna cost $40 million to bring him in. I mean, there's definitely guys that you can get for $40 million that could score goals and change the play a little bit differently.
Okay, Alex, yay or nay on Lukaku?
I would have said no 2 games ago. I think he's absolute garbage. The last 2 games I watched him, I actually think he's done pretty well. I'd say no, but then I'd actually say yes at the moment because I'd rather him and see Rooney up top at the moment or anyone else. It's better than no one. It's got to that state now. But no, in all honesty, I have watched him the last 2 games and he seems to have improved in the last season. He is powerful. He does get in behind the defence. He did actually score today and it was what we talked out.
We need to remember, Alex, that Lukaku is 21. He's very, very young and he's massive and he's got bags of potential. I think he'd be a fantastic shout, especially at 21. I don't see why we wouldn't go for someone like him. He has played in the Premier League now a number of years. He knows what to expect. If we're going to bring in someone like, I don't know, Benzema, maybe for 50 million, an extra 10 million on top of the 40 million, what would your answer be? Steve, yay or nay?
No, I still wouldn't have him. I'd have Benzema.
Yeah, I'm saying.
But then didn't Lukaku only move to Everton last season though, on a permanent?
On a permanent, yeah, but Everton are a selling club. But Benzema, yeah.
Yeah, true. But again, Sean did it there. You're gonna have to bid 45, 50 million quid for Lukaku.
Yeah, okay.
I'm really bothered about what he paid for fees and that, but
yeah, but
I'm not saying he's a bad player. Don't get me wrong. He's Alex said it there. He's miles better than what we've got at a minute on current form. But you saw him score a shitload of goals for West Brom, and you thought, Jesus, this guy score goals for fun. Brilliant for Everton in the first season. He was horrific last year. Tell you what, that game where the Everton come to Old Trafford and we played Paddy McNair at centre back, and I thought, Jesus fucking wept, we're going to get destroyed. And he was absolutely garbage. His touch was worse than Rooney's.
Yeah.
So again, he's a form player, and he's a potential player. Again, you know what I mean? I think we've got Shaw as potential. Memphis is another potential player.
I think there's the biggest problem now is that we've got lots of potential, but potential means nothing unless you've got proven quality within that mix as well. Sean, would you take Benzema or Lukaku?
Yes, definitely.
That wasn't the question.
Would I take him? Yes, definitely.
No, that wasn't the question.
What was the question?
I said, would you take Lukaku or Benzema, you numpty?
You said, would you take Benzema over Lukaku? I said, yes, definitely. Yes, I would take Benzema over Lukaku, definitely. He would be put him at the top, put him in the front, and Memphis on the one side and Griezmann on the other side. There you go. There's 50, 60 goals right there. There you go.
Okay, thank you for that pearl of wisdom, Sean. Alex, would you take Benzema over Lukaku, mate?
Yes, I think you'd be silly not to. I don't think we're going to get Benzema there. I don't think Real Madrid will let him go. Just enough. Yes. Just a little point as well. I saw yesterday, last season, our front line, only one player scored over 12 goals. And that was Depay, and that was in the Dutch league. Not good, is it?
Christ.
So
12 goals. Oh dear. Right, okay. So I think we've kind of sorted out the striker problem. So we'd all rather have Benzema, but even then, we're not guaranteed goals. Not guaranteed goals. Is it solely a problem with the strikers, or is it also, a problem with the midfield? Is it a problem that we're playing Schweinsteiger and Schneiderlin together? Do you want to see Carrick back in the team, Steve?
Yeah, I think both of them are going to alternate, to be fair, Schweinsteiger and Carrick. I think Schweinsteiger definitely, he didn't come here to sit on the bench, so he's going to get games. He's a quality player. I think 50-50, a lot of people were saying, well, why are we starting the home game against Newcastle? We're playing two probably defence-minded midfields, and I think you probably have to agree with that, to be fair. Did we need Schneiderlin and, like you say, a restricted Schweinsteiger for the first hour? I think you could probably say not. No, you could have played Herrera and he could have got further forward, left a bit more gaps for Newcastle, but would they have done much more with it?
I mean, are we setting up
Probably
too
not.
defensively against teams that we should be beating at home? Yay or nay?
I think it's too early to judge. I think last season, obviously, there was injuries, there was poor form. Like you say, it wasn't a great thingy to take over. 3 games in, I think we could judge probably after about 10. But I think if it carries on, like you say, with the home game, I think the next home game's Liverpool. Probably you could get away with it against Liverpool, two defensemen. But I mean, if we have teams like Watford and Bournemouth for a good side, I mean, Norwich coming to Old Trafford and teams like that, and you're still sitting with 2 defensive midfielders then, and you get a 0-0 draw, then yeah, it's miles too defensive minded. But after 3 games, I don't think I'd like to say yeah or no on that, to be fair, in a minute.
Okay, fair enough. Let me just touch on another point. Our defence has been pretty solid since the start of the season. Mightily impressed with Chris Smalling, good old Mike, who's done really well this season so far. The games that he's played, he's looked really solid, and he's seemed to have improved massively since he's come in this season. I mean, I was slating him left, right, and centre last season. I'll be first to say that. but he's been massively improved this season. He seems to really come into his own. Blind as well at the back. Him and Smalling seem to be creating a good partnership. Alex, what do you think about that, mate?
Yeah, I've been really pleasantly surprised. Going back to Smalling, he's the best defender at the club now by a country mile. He's come on leaps and bounds, and Phil Jones has gone backwards. But we're not speaking about Phil Jones now. Smalling, though, he seems a lot more calm and composed on the ball. He does. I think, he got given the captain's armband. When am I thinking of this? No, he didn't. Did he? Did he get given no, Rooney didn't go off yesterday, did he? No.
The other day.
Sorry, apologies about that.
Bless him. He doesn't know where he is.
But no, Smalling, fair play to him. He's come on, absolute leaps and bounds. Blind alongside him. I didn't think it would work. I still think there's, tougher tests to come. Liverpool at home, Swansea away next weekend is going to be one hell of a hard game. We'll see. We'll see a lot. We'll learn a lot more about the defence then. But to be fair to Van Gaal, I think Blind can do a job. I like the fact that he can sort of play us out of tricky situations. He can bring the ball out of defence. So he brings it out of defence and then passes it to midfield, and we pass it back to him and keep the ball. It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, well, look, I think our defence is mightily improved for since last season. I'm not worried about the defence. I'm really not, and I'm not worried about the midfield. I just think we need to know what plays to play in that midfield. But all of those midfield players have a role at United, and they can all have some kind of impact at some part of the season. The season's very long. I don't think we can. I don't think anyone can deny that. And the fact is that people after 3 games are saying, "Oh, we may as well hand City the title now." I was like, "Been 3 fucking games. What's wrong with you?" You know what I mean? Like, they could fizzle out, but everyone seems to, be so kind of, worrying about City. Why don't you worry about United? I think our biggest thing that we sort out is firstly our attacking movement, and also bringing in a striker, and also playing Herrera. 3 things: Herrera to come back into the team, 2 to bring in a striker, and 1 to sort out the midfield. I think that's desperate to be done. If obviously, who would you play going into the Bruges game? Would you play Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, or Carrick, Schneiderlin, Carrick, Schweinsteiger? Sean? Herrera?
I'd play Herrera. I'd know definitely Herrera and Schneiderlin probably. Do you think too that you're talking about the defense? Do you think that Smalling's playing better this year because he's got those guys in front of him, kind of shielding him as well? I mean, there's.
I think it's just taking time for him to kind of bed in. I don't know. I think he's now finally really knows what the Premier League's about, and he's kind of really kind of matured and coming into his own. I don't know what's kind of gone like that in his head, but he's no longer a donkey. I don't know.
Yeah, he's still young. He's 24, 25. I mean, he's still learning the game. With center backs, it takes him a little longer to learn the game sometimes. And he's fair play to him. He's taking his chances. While Phil Jones is always injured. And
is there going to be a place for Phil Jones at United?
I don't think. I mean, I guess at some point he just signed a long contract again. But he if they rotate and do that stuff, but. I don't know where he's going to play. I mean, who's he stepping in front of right now? He's not stepping in front of Blind. He's not stepping in front of Smalling, and he's probably not stepping in front of Rojo. So I guess he's gonna have to take his chances and hope that when he gets back in the lineup, he doesn't get hurt again. Because if he keeps getting hurt and he keeps kind of going backwards.
So I'm just going to read out some tweets of people that have been sending Stretty News TV. At James Rowe has said Herrera should be the first name on the team sheet in his opinion, playing him with either Carrick or Schneiderlin. So a big hello to you, James. What else? Christian at Monkey of the Funk, top name. Our midfield should be Carrick, Herrera, Schneiderlin behind Mata, Depay and Wilson. So there's no place for Wayne Rooney there. Billy Meredith says, agree, Herrera will come in. LVG wants to keep it solid to avoid a bad start again. Paul Aristides, he says, I think we've had a decent start. 7 points is far better than last season. would feel better if we signed a centre forward. I don't think anyone would really disagree with you there, Paul. Evidently, we need to obviously do better going forward in the attacking third. I think we will do. So yeah, I mean, I think the next few games are really going to be telling to see how we're going to progress. We've got 8 days left of the transfer window to try and bring in a few players. Van Gaal hasn't ruled it out. I'd be really interested just to hear if there was 2 players that you could bring in. Realistically, who would they be? I want to go through everyone. I just want 2 names. Don't go into, I want this, maybe that. Just 2 players. Have a think. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to have a think about who you're going to bring in, and then I'm going to come back to you. Okay? Who am I going to pick on? Steve. I like Steve. Steve. 2 players.
I'd go after Lewandowski, like I said. Got to at least try.
Not Thomas Muller?
No, not for me. I don't think he's a number 9.
Yeah.
I think we're crying out for just a proper number 9. But his goal scoring record isn't fantastic though, Serge. It's brilliant at World Cups, but I think I just call him a German Rooney. He'll get 12 or 13 goals a season. Fantastic player sometimes off a main striker, but I think we need a main striker. I'd still go after a centre back though. I think I've got still slight reservations about centre half. Chris Smalling, like you say, he's been doing really well, but I mean there isn't an abundance of centre halves out there really. There was a lot of Ramos talk, that's gone, and then everyone seems to be linked with John Stones at the minute. But I'd just if I was Van Gaal, he pulled Darmian out of nowhere, so I'd let Van Gaal choose a centre half, and I'd go after a top draw striker.
Okay, so you don't want Joss Stones, the singer. Sean, 2 players.
Griezmann and Bale.
Okay, that sounds cheap. Alex, 2 players.
Neymar and Bale. No.
Yeah. Make us dream. We sound like fucking Liverpool fans.
It's our year. Next year. I'd absolutely love Bale, but I can't see it happening. We need a striker. I'm excited by that Lacazette guy, to be honest. He's pacey, young. Give him a chance.
I don't see much of this guy. He's just we got to sign that Lacazette guy. He had 1 good season in a shit French league. He's fucking quality. Bring in Lacazette. Honestly.
Hadn't he just signed a massive deal with Lyon anyway for about another 4 or 5 years?
Yes.
Alright then, Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, okay. That sounds a bit more... Harry Kane, okay. Alright guys, thanks for that. Just one final tweet that was sent in to us. Oh no, a couple of tweets. John Bilner. Bilby 1977. I'll bet that in the next 2 to 3 games, Rooney will bag 1, and then he'll go on a 10 to 15 game scoring streak, and all will be forgotten. Steve, you don't look pleased with that.
No, again, the dreaming. When was the last time it happened? And the thing that fucks me off, Serge, with some of our fan bases, it just seems to be, Rooney scores a goal, and that's it. He's had a cracking game. I'm not being funny. He's the captain of Manchester fucking United. It isn't just down to his goal scoring record. He isn't getting slag for that. He's getting slag for his performances. His touch is an absolute joke. He's running back from centre forward where he's wanted to play for years. He's going back into a number 10 role or coming on the halfway line, and we've got no one to fill the position where he's just been in.
Right,
isn't a fact of, even if he does score 10 goals in the next 30 games, does that mean he's had a great season?
I watched Rooney. Steve, I watched Rooney against Bruges, and there was so many times where we had the ball in the box and he was nowhere to be seen. He's moved from a number 9 to a number 10 to a number 10.5. I don't think he even knows where he's trying to play. I think he's got so used to playing midfield last season that he's now doesn't know where he's meant to be. And,
to be honest, I think he's always done that under Sir Alex Ferguson. Anyway, I think that's what a lot of our fans used to love about him. He'd be up top or number 10, or when Ronaldo was there, he'd be out wide, and he'd run back to left back and get the challenge in. But I think a part of that, you've got to be disciplined in your positions. That's what Van Gaal is.
If you watch videos, you're on YouTube, and you go on video and you type in Rooney, and you watch Rooney from when he first came to United, he had everything. He had pace, he had power, he had desire, he had everything. He was a quick player. Now look at him. He's a slob. Honestly, he really is.
I agree, but we've seen firsthand
because of age. That's fine because of age, but you don't lose your quality. And he seems to have lost his sheen. He's lost a lot.
What do you think it is then?
One at a time, Alex.
I think he's more likely to go on a 10-15 day binge in Benidorm and a goal scoring run at the moment. I'll defend him slightly. I'll defend him very quickly. I think part of his trouble is just Van Gaal. He's got such a complicated way of playing football. I think someone said the other week, Rooney's one of these players. You take him back to when he was like a street footballer, his natural game, the power, desire, hunger. He's a great player, but it's all been sort of, sucked out of him almost now, and he's got so many responsibilities and so much instruction in his head. He can't concentrate on the one thing sort of he enjoys doing and doing best, playing football and scoring goals.
Fair enough. One final question from a Thomas Jenkins. He said, at Stretty News TV, how many players do you think will still come in, and how many do you think now will still go out? It's a good question. How many players do you think will come in? All I want is a figure. Steve?
One.
One player coming in. Sean?
Two. Come on, Alex, say three.
Three? No, one.
One. Okay, 1, 2, 1.
One.
And how many players do you think will still go out? And how many players will still go out? I'll add on to this question. How many players will still go out, and who will they be? Steve?
I'll say 2. Johnny Evans, and I reckon Januzaj out on loan.
Not De Gea?
I think De Gea will stop and go next year.
Okay. Sean?
Evans is going to go 3 players. Evans, Valdez, and De Gea.
Oh, that's 2 keepers. Okay, fair enough. And Alex Simo?
Yeah, 2, Valdez and Evans, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you. Okay, that's great. Everybody, thank you very much for tuning in to Stretty News TV. There will be a subscribe button down there. Make sure you subscribe to Stretty News TV. If everyone wants to plug their Twitter, that would be wonderful. Alex, what's your Twitter name?
It's at Alex Simo with an underscore in the middle.
So, at Alex_Simo. Sean, what's your Twitter name?
At the Prodigal Sean.
Okay, you can tweet him at the Prodigal Sean because he's very prodigal. Steve?
At SGCW7.
At SGCW7, wonderful. And I'm at Serge MUFC. If you want to come and abuse me, with pleasure. I get enough of it a week anyway. So thank you for tuning in to Stretty News TV. As I said, this will probably be my last one. Hosting for a bit of time. I'm getting married on Thursday, so I will be away from the channel for a bit, but I will obviously be carrying on following the Reds. Let's hope we get 3 points. Well, 3 points. I was going to say 3 points against Bruges. Let's hope we get the win over Bruges and we can get a Champions League. And let's hope we do well this season. As I said, get your comments in below. We'll try and answer as many as we can. Just remember to subscribe to the channel because the more subscribes we have, the better the content we can give to you. So again, yeah, thanks for everybody coming on today and go United!